Woohoo! Hey, welcome everybody to the live show. Hope you guys are going to enjoy it. PulseX Sacrifice. It's going to be pretty cool. And welcome. If you haven't subscribed, like, share, hit the bell. And great to see everybody in the chat already. We're going to warm up here, folks, and we're going to rock this PulseX. We've got some big milestones that were hit today. We've got some cool insights from Wales again. We've got obviously added a Twitter to the social media. Quite a few people were asking me on the channels as subscribers to get on to Twitter, despite the fact that they know I don't like it because it doesn't have freedom of speech on there. But hey, we're on there now. The crypto market is big on Twitter, so we're just going to play in that area there. So get on there, get into the poll. We've got a poll today, of course, and if you can get into there and fill that out. We've got a couple of categories. Have you followed Hex Token on Twitter? Obviously, it's just only been up for a little while now. And or Getter, of course. Getter I've been on for a little while. So get onto that. We've got followed and retweeted on Twitter, followed on Twitter, followed and repost on Getter, followed on Getter. So get on there, folks, and join along. Let's build that up from there as well. All right, so there we are. Let's get on to that. So we've got a couple of comments here as well. Let me get in the house. We've got Taffrin in there. Big, and I got the money bags as usual. Great to see you in the house there, Taffrin. Nice and early too. So follow Hex Token on socials. We've got Twitter. Follow Hex Token on Twitter there. That is the address. I got Token Hex. That's the name that I got. A Hex Token was taken. Could have had Hex Token something else, but I just went with Token Hex. We've got obviously Hex Token on Getter. So you can see that here, 139 followers at the moment. Might just refresh that, and very cool. Now, this is a free speech platform. You know how I roll on that. I love it. And, of course, the news flow is pretty decent as opposed to here we are on Twitter, Token Hex, of course. So get on following there. Some of the news items are just propagandized or left-wing nonsense. But apart from that, we're going to sit in the crypto zone. And I'll get over it sooner than later. So very cool. Get on there and follow. So it's twitter.com Token Hex. We'll get on there, and then of course we're going to jump over to some of the other stuff in the lineup. So let's get on to that. So we've got Odyssey as well. Don't forget on Odyssey. So Hex Tokens on Odyssey, and go follow there. That's also free speech as well as you can post videos. It's kind of like a YouTube on the blockchain. So follow on there. Does have LBC token as well, so it has its own platform token. Very cool. Now I have got for the Hex Token channel on Odyssey, I have got it as a premium 5-star channel. Basically, you have to lock in 1,000 LBC tokens, and that can get you 5 stars. So that helps. And then you can also, when you get LBC, you can actually support the channel. And so I do that, support the videos as they come through. I end up putting more support on there to get them ranked higher. So just going to start building that up over time. Very cool. And a cool fun fact, of course, on Twitter today, one of the first 10 members, folks, one of the first 10 members was Richard Hart, was one of the first 10 followers of Hex Token on the chat. So pretty cool. Big shout out to Richard Hart for that. Nice. We've got Rare Groove in the house. Hey, woo. Nice. And Rare Groove locked on and listening. Katano TV is now Rare Groove. Hey, we're all used to changing names online, so very cool, Rare Groove, and welcome. We've still got to catch up, of course, on Discord. I have a good chat about a few things, projects and stuff, so we'll catch up that soon enough. So very cool. I like the name Rare Groove, the old funky down. Morris is in the house. Hi guys, we hit 1 billion. Whoop. Yeah, we're going to talk about that pretty soon. Actually, we're not going to muck around after we have the introduction here. We're going to get into that, and it's now's in the house. What's up, Hexagons? I love that. What's up? I am watching the Scary Movie series at the moment. I think there's 5. I think did I watch number 3? Number 2. I think I watched number 2. I don't think I've got up to number 3 yet, so I'm going to watch that. And Matt and Barley's in the house. Woohoo! The boys are back in town. That's right. Awesome. Great to see Matt in the house. Very cool. And hey, great use of it's now is a Hex Token channel member. Great use of those emojis on there. Very cool. I've still got to add PulseX. I must try and remember to do that today. Very cool. Crypto Heartbeat's in the house. It's that time again, folks. Let's go. Hey, a big shout out to Crypto Heartbeat with the liquid loans interviews, and some of the interviews lately have just been outstanding. Crypto Heartbeat, really cool. Now, some people you interview lots of different people. There's something for everybody, and that's what I like about it. There's such a wide range of interviews that if you're into particular topics, you like to hear particularly people speak, then it's really, really great coming from Crypto Heartbeat. And I think I already shouted out the one around Funding Gym. That was pretty cool. Also, another shout out, watch out Funding Gym video interview on My Life is Awesome. He did a very good interview with Funding Gym. So check that out if you haven't. That's My Life is Awesome. Check that out. So big shout out for that. Very cool. Quantifier Correct is in the house. Woohoo! Hey, nice to see you there. And Matt, love your show. Show us your knives sometime. Okay, apparently Crypto Heartbeat has some knives there from looks. Francia's in the house. Hello, Hexkins. Hey, good to see you, Francia. And Sandup says, is the Hex Pulse Bridge first thing to buy Pulse? Well, over the bridge, yeah, once they open up, that will be the bridge. There will probably be a lot of other bridges come on. A lot of other service providers that do bridges will come on. And just like when in Polygon, if you're trying to send stuff from Ethereum to Polygon, there's the official bridge that might cost you $50. I think they use different methods for getting it on there. Some services just do a transfer, which is your cheapest option, right, on Ethereum. Might if you're on a reasonable GUI setting, that might be like $7-10, something like that, as opposed to the Polygon bridge, which typically every time I try it's like $40-50. So you might want to try a cheaper bridge. Now, if you go into the Polygon Matic bridge and you pick fast bridges, they have a whole list of bridges, and a couple of those actually just using transfers. So they transfer into a wallet and then transfer out. It's just like basically you're using the send function, so it's super cheap if you're doing the send function. So pretty interesting stuff there. I don't use the Polygon official Matic bridge anymore because it's just not cost effective compared to some of the fast bridges. But you got to trust the bridges when you first use them, right? So you got to maybe use a secondary wallet. Never use your primary wallets if you're a little nervous about something, for sure. Sandit says, so that's a bit of answer that one. Matt and Barley says, pump it up, boys. Yeah, absolutely. Let's rock and roll. We're going to build up over this time. So here we are, folks. Follow the socials, Getter, Hex Token. So love it. Free speech, brilliant. Crypto, of course, is big on Twitter, as it is on Reddit and Telegram. So follow Token Hex is the name. Not Hex Token, Token Hex, because the other one was gone. The person that's got Hex Token is not even using it. So it's just unfortunate. But there we are. So cool. Hex Token YouTube channel publishes videos about Hex, Pulsechain, PulseX, and related crypto projects. So very, very nice. We will be talking about liquid loans briefly later on because I think that's going to be a really huge opportunity. As I think it's if you have a chair, it's like that fourth leg of a chair. So very, very cool with your own bank and your own lending ability, which is cool, and at 0% interest against your own assets. So it's pretty nice. That's why I like it so much. Very cool. All right, so we've got to have that on. And, of course, we've got lots of cool stuff happening here. Let's jump into the Hex price. Let's get straight into it. So here we are on Hex price, currently sitting just under 18 cents. So it's just mulling around here in this range, between, what we say, 17 cents and 20 cents, just mulling around here at the moment. This is kind of the perfect time, typically, to buy up some, DCA your bags. I heard that... who was it saying? I just forgot. It's one of my favorite community members. Just forgotten his name now. I'll try and remember. Like I told you, the worst thing's my memory around names. That's the worst thing. But I'll try and remember the name as we go. So they're buying DCAing in here at the moment. So cool. Let us. So anyway, we haven't hit the support at 16 cents, as I said yesterday. We're just mulling around the support level here, 16.5 cents, but in the middle there, so pretty cool. Obviously, some of the whales, I think it's crazy people selling around this price point, but hey, it looks like we're getting some support here, so that's actually pretty good for our move up. So that's why I got the green candle. I think we have a pretty fast move up when the game's on. It's going to be pretty crazy like that. And we are getting closer to the PulseX in the PulseX Sacrifice day by day. We've got patience, and that's the one thing we have in the Hex community. You've got used to patience with staking, either doing a staking ladder or staking 5555 Quattro Cinco. So you can do that. So we've still got quite a few days to go there, 26 days. So we're slowly getting there, folks. And of course, obviously, the more important, like the sacrifice is important. Obviously, we've had probably the majority of it happen. We're going to keep continuing as days go on. But the most important thing is getting that software, up to top scratch so that when it launches, we're not even thinking about the platform. We're just thinking about the financial activity and the adoption and the community on top of that. So very, very cool. All right, so that's 26 days to go. And yeah, rocking it up. We're in this big triangle, of course. This is the linear chart, not the log chart, as I say. We're well comfortably in the log chart uptrend based on my charting, which is not on here. I was supposed to bring that up today, so I forgot about that, but I'll try and bring that up and maybe tomorrow's one again if I remember. So here we are at the moment, just sitting at triangle. We want to break this resistance here on the top, and then a breakout. Once we break that, we've broken the downtrend and we're away. So that's what we're really waiting for. And as I keep repeating, we have these continual patterns where we have a big move, a small move, and then a big move, and a small move, and a big move, and a small move, and a big move, and a small move, and a big move, right? It's kind of the next one. Next one is a big move. That's what's in play. But we could mull around here for a little while as we get there. So pretty cool. We also need more volumes, of course, to increase volumes on that one. This is the daily, of course, we're looking at. Let's have a look at the DMI. Got that below here. So DMI still got the sellers, the buyers down here and the sellers up here, but the sellers have ticked down slightly. We've got the signal line going over there, and what we want the signal line to go up here, and then the buyers line to go up and cross over it. That's what we want to have happen, just like you saw back here. We want to see this happen here. So we want to see this here cross below the red sellers line, cross below the orange signal line, and we want to get in that environment here, right here. We want to get in that environment, and that's what we want for run up. So we're actually perfectly positioned for that run up, I reckon. So that's pretty cool. And of course, the RSI has got plenty of room to move. So even if it drops just a little bit more, we've got plenty of room to move on that, and that's cool. So nice on that. And then, of course, I've got the launch. The earliest period of launch, in my estimation, is a week to 3 weeks. I've got to paste over my trading view charts, but it's got the timeline. That's my favorite chart with the timeline, so I must bring that in. This is my new iMac, so I bought a lot of stuff in yesterday. You saw that. I've just got to finish. I'll probably just bring in a log into TradingView and bring that in. I did try it once, but then I had an issue with my password, so I'll try and work that one out. So there we are. So that's probably the earliest period. Like I say, software is challenging. So even if we get to Pulsechain testnet 3, then with the AMM bot testing, the DAO incentive, and the distributions, those are the three things remaining. PulseX is being tested. That's the last of the MVP, or the minimum viable product, that is being tested on private test network. So that's looking very positive, and Richard's very upbeat about all that, as we said yesterday. So if software can be difficult, I think this is probably a reasonable estimation of time, somewhere in March here. But of course, it could end up being April. So we just need to be cognizant that software does take a little bit of time. But at the moment, very upbeat, an upbeat expectation, I would say. So let's say we're going to put a decent expectation on there. The other thing, of course, Matty Allen's got his Las Vegas Hexpo, 600 tickets for that. So I think there's still some left. You can try and get those. And that's also on in early March here. So around this early date here. So cool. All right. So there's the price, folks. And we won't have to look at the hourly. I think that's pretty similar. We're pretty much in this range of 17 to 20 cents here at the moment. And it's a good place to DCA at the 18 cents, right? It's a pretty good place. And as I finally said, Rackham, the Overwatch #1 whale on PulseX Sacrifice, says, he thinks people are a bit silly. I can't remember exact words. I'm just using the word silly selling at this stage, especially if you think about the fact that Hex is going to get split in two. It will be 9 cents on each block, each chain. And then, of course, have a lot of people think it will move to parity and maybe not immediately, but move to parity. Some people think that. And so if you have 9 cents, you could then jump that up to the all-time high, 56 cents. That's a 6x on both chains, is the argument there. So pretty interesting. So there's the price update. Let's get into some of the comments before I move on to the next topic, which is PulseX Live. And that's the main thing for the live show. XZ says, woohoo, smash the likes, smash them likes. I love that. Yeah, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. John Gimson says, hey, Hex Token Jenkins has spotted bullish divergence on the chart. Do you think TA is worth it with low liquidity? Is and how we can see sellers' wallets histories? It's a couple of questions there, John. I would probably just say that we're going to get a lot of things happening very fast. For me, the fundamentals is far more important at this stage. So I really see this coming towards the end of the sacrifice, the block height of the fork, in other words, the airdrop. who gets qualified for the airdrop, and then the launch. And it's just the way, depends on the way Richard actually does that. Lets to know the market. But I think that whales are going to may front run the news, and so they may push the price up earlier based on some of the sentiments that I'm seeing, especially from if you take Overwatch is possibly going to take a bit more position. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I might address more of that tomorrow, John. I'll take down some of your comments there. Catherine says, my family, GTSY all. Nice one there, Catherine. And Prince of Pulse is in house. Unlike other crypto devs, Richard Hart releases complete financial functioning code. Yeah, that's so true, Prince of Pulse. I love your name, by the way, Prince of Pulse. That's pretty cool. And Catherine says, RH is SOA, son of an angel. Yeah, that's true. And Marco's in the house. Woo-hoo-hoo. Hey, Marco, good to see you. As always, I love that chant. This is the old Hex Token channel chant now, the old woo-hoo-hoo. And hopefully it's not too loud when I push it through because, got the studio mic built into the iMac 24 4.5K inch screen. It was so beautiful to see that compared to my old Mac with a full HD screen. So very nice on that. Sinful Believers in the house. Another Hex Token channel member represent after bridging over eHex. Can you stake it on Pulsechain? And if not, how do you go about swapping it for PHEX? So you would be a peer between eHex and PHEX on the chain, I guess, and you just swap it over. That's to get to stake your PHEX on there. It's basically Hex on Pulsechain that you're going to be able to stake on there. You can bridge it over. So it's going to be interesting to see that side of it for sure. Now, Pulse Earth Plane says, nice. If you changed your name, Pulse Earth Planes, you've changed your name again. I just realized that because you're a Hex Token channel member too. So you just keep changing your name. And I'm trying to think what your previous name was. Let me think now. I just can't think now what it is. Hex is the way or something. Big Hexagon says, yep, enough sideways. Let's pump the house. Yeah, it's certainly looking good for that in my view. And Hex Buller says, love this channel. Hey, Hex Buller, appreciate that. Shout out. And thanks for all you do on Twitter. I've just got onto Twitter, but you've been killing it out there and retweeting. So big shout out. It's now. Fellow Hexagon text me this today. Okay. K4K was on Crypto Heartbeat saying he was researching for content and found something big secret. He didn't even say he would make content about what he found. Okay. Well, that's interesting. That would make good for good footage there. So that's good to see. Cal says, good afternoon from rainy Australia, says Cal. Hey, it's super sunny here in good old New Zealand at the moment. Yeah, surprised. It's probably surprising when it rains over there, Cal. Good to see you all, says Catherine. And John Gibbons, thanks very much. No, you're welcome. And Hex Buller says, how about a simple like, folks, ain't going to cost you anything but a second. Absolutely. And Cal says, I'm buying liquid Hex for the snapshot, whatever that is. Hey, smart move, Cal. And a lot of people are DCAing in. Now, I'm just trying to think of my good friend that online that let me just go over here, see if I can refresh my mind here on who I'm talking about. I just had a skip of the memory there. Actually, am I not even following the YouTube channel? That's crazy. That's embarrassing, to be honest. Let me have a look here. I don't know. I'm not even following his channel. That's terrible. I'm not even following his channel. That's so embarrassing. I'm following so many channels, but just not following his channel. That's kind of weird. So I'll just open for it there. Why's that not updating as well? Let me update that.
I'm an author and I sell
all right. Let me just pause that one. That's just I'm just gonna find a name. Just a moment. I'm gonna find the name. It's gonna happen. Let me make sure this is working. Just bear with me, folks. All right, so let me go to your channel and let me go home. Just going to find. I know it's here somewhere. Discourse Syndicate's on, so that's interesting. Let me have a look here. So no, I thought it would show up straight away. It hasn't shown up. That's unfortunate. Anyway, I'll try and bring that up tomorrow. That topic. That's pretty cool. It's almost coming to my mind, but it's not quite there. Francis says, hola a todos en el Jada. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I have to work out what it means, French. And Pulse Earth Plane says, no changing only once. It was Pulse Marketing Team. That's it. Thank you, Pulse Airplane. Pulse Marketing Team. That's right. So hope you're getting out there and keeping up. It's consistency is the key. Is the most important thing. Talking about Hex, Pulsechain, and that. So I definitely must check out your channel again, Pulse Marketing Team. I'm pretty sure I put that on the channels, recommendation channels. Let me have a look here. No, I haven't yet. Okay, so let me. I think I said I was going to do it after a few videos, didn't I? So let me follow it up on that one. All right. So Mr. A says, question: can you switch to weekly time frame on X? It looks like a classic bubble pop followed by a dead cat bounce. Why don't you think so? Put them side by side. Well, we haven't got much on this chart. I haven't actually got we've only got limited data on here. That's as much data as we've got at the moment on the weekly. That's why I have to bring in the full time series on a different chart. So that I'll do that tomorrow because I want to do that. I want to look at the log chart and we'll do the longer time frame on the weekly. We'll definitely do that tomorrow. Pulse Earth. So I'm going to be doing a lot more around pricing. I haven't been doing that much around price. Just a basic review, but I want to do a lot more around that space. So we'll get onto that. Very cool. Fatal Fury's in the house. Hey, Fatal Fury, been a while. Woo, we made it. Fortunately, Hex price is well under 20 daily EMA, bearish. Yeah, but it's still just sitting along that channel, moving sideways for quite a few days now. So not too bad. Hex Bullet says 36 people watching and under 20 likes. I know I liked it twice. I didn't understand this math. Nice one there, Hex Bullet. All right, so Sinful Believers in the house. Not sure he will announce the snapshot. It's just like a random. Yeah, I think he's gonna have to really game the snapshot because you don't want to give away. You don't want people to pull liquidity. You don't want people to game the system too much. So yeah, we'll see. He's going to give originally he was going to give us a couple, day or two notice or something. We'll see what he does. It's going to be interesting. DS is on, but was having all kinds of trouble with their streaming tonight. It says is now okay. Yeah, I just saw them on because I tried to, I obviously I've been pretty steady with the time frame, but just trying to make sure I don't, cross over with too many of the other channels. Just a bit of courtesy, really, isn't it? Tefron's in the house and nice. And Judge says, "Hey, fronts here, cool." And what else we got going? Mr. A says, "How many X do you think loan can do?" Well, I think it can do quite a lot. Maybe probably 20. If I'm going to be conservative, 20X. But I can think it do way higher than that, because they've got the staking and the initial sacrifice stuff like that. So, yeah. But if you get it at the sacrifice price, it's going to be a lot higher than 20X. It's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be interesting to see how many tokens are on the market, though, too, and how many people decide to defer their gratification over the 2-year period. Probably another way of looking at it. There's a lot of unknowns there, Mr. A, a lot of unknowns, but I think it's going to do pretty well. Let me just say that much. Alex Fame's in the house. Sup, Hex Token. Hello. Hey, Alex. Good to see you. And Sachin says, watching this live while having a barbie. Hey, you're living the dream, Sachin. You're living the dream. Hey, Alex says Pulsechain. I don't know if, Alex is not, Alex K's not in the house yet. All right, let's jump over to PulseX results. It was 23 minutes, so it took me a while. I will have a timestamp. I always have a timestamp. You can just jump to the section that you want to get to if you're watching this after the live show. Or want to watch it again, a certain section. So here we are. We've got 955. Basically, if we round it up, $955 million on Ethereum. Pretty badass, if you ask me. We've got 19 hours and 36 minutes to go until we get another 5% increase. Cool. And of course, the daily increase will continue pretty high. And at the moment, we have two different types of points when you're sacrificing. You're sacrificing for freedom of association. Very important. You know me. All about the freedom. And of course, we got the base points, 10,000 points per $2.05. So $2.65, I should say. $2.65 for 10,000 base points. And then we have a volume multiplier on the other side. And of course, that's based on how much your US dollar proportion relative to everybody else's. And of course, you take your base points and you multiply it by your volume multiplier, and that gives you your total points. So those are the two components that make up your total points. So I just say that for new people, not for you pros out there. That know how this works, and I've already sacrificed way back here. So there we are, folks. We're just climbing at the moment, $2.65. Of course, eventually, by the time we get to the end of the sacrifice period, it's going to be $9.90. And of course, here we are. We just finished day 31, I think it is. So we're on day 32, and we have 26 days to go until the very end. And of course, the volume multiplier, that second component, only continues on until up to the 21st. and then we move on to a flat rate of 1.75. But we'll talk a bit more about that when we look at the rates table for PulseX. Very, very cool. And of course, PulseX, for those who are new to it, is really like Uniswap for Pulsechain. So Uniswap is on Ethereum, so where you swap tokens and stuff like that. That's going to be really kind of like that, but supercharged onto a Pulsechain, and it's going to have a buy and burn feature. And at the moment, I'm calling that a magical buy and burn feature, and I think that's going to play out pretty well at the moment. So, hey, coming back to, I think someone said K to K, K and K. Haven't actually seen much of his content, but K and K, I think it is another YouTuber. I wonder if he's been looking at some of the code. Maybe there's some code out there. That some of the code often gives you little insights into projects. That might be one avenue that possibly he's looking at there. So nice. Let's jump over to pulsex.info. Now, if you're looking to sacrifice, then this is the dApp or the site that you can sacrifice on. Most people are sacrificing on Ethereum or Ethereum compatible chains like Binance Smart Chain, Polygon Matic, Avalanche, Ethereum Classic. So if you are doing that, you can use the same address, and basically all you have to do is use the send function in your MetaMask wallet. You just like you're sending crypto to a friend, you send it to this wallet, and your sacrifice would get recorded on the transaction hash, as they call it, or transaction ID that is on the blockchain. So that's how you get recorded. That's how they know how much points to give you. Pretty cool. If you're going to sacrifice on some of these other chains and but Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and all that sort of stuff, then just follow the instructions here, step 1 to 3, and you'll be able to get an address to send it to and all that sort of stuff. So pretty easy. Just follow the instructions. You'll be fine. Always, if you're a little bit nervous, you can always sacrifice just a little amount. Make sure it all worked. And if you're happy, then you can sacrifice more. Obviously, the rate that you're getting at the moment is 10,000 points per $2.65. As you can see in the curve, that's kind of still relatively early, although the market price at this price for 10,000 points without the volume multiplier is 0.000265. So the market price of Pulse would have to get at least to get to that to get break even. But of course, if you're doing a higher amount of sacrifice, you're going to get a multiplier. And so you might get a slightly, need a slightly better market price for that to break even. That's one way of looking at it. Cool. All right, let's jump over to PulseX Leads. Woohoo! Our favorite site. We love the site. This is pretty cool. Now I'm going to do a shout out to the developer. It's very important to always give credit and shout outs if you're going to use people's videos or sites. So this is Game System 10. And of course, a theme designed by Barn Designs. I guess it's just a general one, but Games System 10 is the developer there. Very, very cool. And you can donate to that developer over here on the donate button. So if you want to throw a little bit of crypto their way, I'm sure they'll be happy on that one. Now let's have a look at the results. We're at 1 billion. Woo-hoo! That's the way we roll. We don't play small here in PulseX land. So nice 1 billion sacrifice. This is on 3 chains: Ethereum, a Binance Smart Chain, and a Polygon Matic. Very, very cool. And 1,743,222. And that is pretty badass, isn't it? Now, of course, if we include the other chains and stuff like that, we're sitting probably about 1,030 million. It's probably where we're sitting at the moment, 1,030 million in total. We showed the spreadsheet yesterday that I have on that. I haven't got it popped up today, but that's about that. We're sitting at about, probably about that. It's probably where we are. So pretty nice on that. Give or take, of course, on that, but that's probably about where we are. All right, so looking good there. Let's have a look at the top 100 wallets. And, of course, we've got our big whales at the top here, our famous ones here, Overwatch, hashtag Rackham, the CEO, the Hex God Whale sitting at number 2 here, 29 million. The Hex God Whale, very, very cool, who's actually moved quite a bit of Ethereum back into USD. I think they're sitting somewhere about $67 million US in USD. They sold down some of their Ethereum to get that as the market was going down. They did a lot of it actually before the market really took a hit. So that was a smart move on their part. What will they do with that? Will they decide to buy ETH again? Maybe they will if they think ETH has hit a bottom or whatever. If they think ETH is going to continue going down, who knows? We'll find out what they do. Obviously, they've got to make decisions just like we do. We have to make decisions. They have to make decisions. Obviously, they're dealing with tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. So it's a slightly different thing there. They also may decide, hey, maybe they'll buy if there's a market pullback in Pulse maybe they'll buy more Pulse up or PulseX up in the market and take big positions. Probably more likely Pulse. If you're a big whale, you probably look more for that. But that will be interesting to see that happen. Obviously, they sacrifice more in the PulseX one here, but they may want to pick up more Pulse. So we'll see. Or they may just sit on the US dollar amount. So we'll watch that very closely. They've still got tons and tons of Ethereum, of course. But of course, that's moved down with the market price. So it may have been worth 150 million, 200 million. It's now worth something like 80 million, something like that on the ETH side. It's just one public account. They may have other accounts. Some people have said that the Hex Whale may have up to $2 billion under management. So who knows? Who knows? No doubt they have a lot of other investments. Being diversified is one of the wisdoms of being of making a lot of money. Try to keep reasonably diversified as well. So there we are. We've got other whales there. We've got 7 whales over 10 million. Nothing's changed there. Let's have a look at the Magic Carpet Ride team. This is a pool or a syndicate, basically a bunch of people from around the world that are following a couple of people that are managing this. So they have a trust relationship there. And, of course, the people on YouTube, they're on Telegram. They've got the groups and basically join in there. You get an address to send you. They register you on their Excel spreadsheet, which must look pretty big. And they reconcile that sheet to make sure it's up to date. So it's pretty interesting on there. So 10 million. So we'll have a look for the Magic Carpet Ride team. We have had them in the chat. There's a few people that often comment, consistent watchers here on this channel, like Ramon and that have participated in that. So we're looking forward to their journey. So we're going to go to their address. Their address, they're ranked at number 21, and that's the address there. And they are up at $4.2 million. Dollars or $3 million, 3.9 on the effective. Let's look at their transactions, see if they had anything come in. So the 28th, they're still sacrificing a bit here. Actually, yesterday was pretty big. They USDC coin on Ethereum 23,659, so still pretty big there. They had two other ones there, and then on 27th, they had reasonably modest on the 20th, so about $900 on the 20th. But yesterday was the Friday, the 28th. There, which is probably just recently. That's pretty big sacrifice there. Almost getting a stutter sometimes. If you noticed, almost getting a stutter. Maybe it's time for have a drink. Maybe it's time. Cheers, everybody. So we're going to just scroll back down here. That's basically that's where they're at. That's the Magic Carpet Ride. They're doing pretty well. We're going to keep scrolling down to the top 100, and of course the top 100 is pretty similar to yesterday. I think this might be slightly up. It's basically $1.2 million to get in the top 100, and that's pretty neat. We've got 122,000 wallets now, so that's a pretty cool milestone. That's on these 3 blockchains, remember. Very, very cool. Let's have a look at the top 500 accounts and see how you get into there. We're going to jump there and scroll down. So we're looking at $201,848 to get in the top 500. So it's a lot more than people suspected at the beginning to get into these top spots. So top 100,000, top 1,000 is $102,746, and of course the top 1,000, as I always say, they're controlling the majority of the supply, and it's people that sell in that commute group will also be buying from the other group, so there'll be a bit of movement about holdings. And once again, these are all early adopters. Everybody, there's 122,000 wallets plus the other sacrifices are all early adopters. When there's going to be a day or two before the bridge opens up to Ethereum, and when that opens up, you're going to have the ability to something like 3 or 4 million people on Ethereum with the potential to come over, because they're getting the biggest airdrop in history. It will take, we'll get a big burst at the beginning, then it will slowly spread out like a wildfire on a wheat field, and more people will realize, hey, there's great value over there. I got an airdrop. Have you got your airdrop? Have you claimed it? Have you done this? And then more and more will come. They'll get on there and they'll realize everything is like Ethereum, but it's super fast, super cheap. It's got huge yield farming incentives. It's got a free airdrop. I can pair that up. I can make more money on free money, and the money is just printed out of nowhere, just like what crypto's done many times before. And then it becomes, it's self-fulfilling after that. And of course, it's going to be on a bigger scale than we've ever seen in crypto, because this is the first system state fork of Ethereum. So it really is big to bring that home. So super fast, super cheap. Biggest airdrop in history, biggest yield farming. AMM bot's going to run, print money out of nothing, get that secure that liquidity, and of course that is going to be the fastest way to mass adoption. Open up that bridge, bring in all the ERC20s and the ETH, and away you go. Magic. Pair those up in the pools. Away you go. People are singing and dancing in the streets. It's going to be pretty fun. I'm not excited though. I'm not excited about it. So just let's not get carried away with anything like that. All right, so cool. Let's jump down to the bottom 5,000. $20,000 is the base there at the moment. So they're getting the top 5,000. As I say a couple of times before, a lot of people thought they might be able to get in the top 5,000 with 5 to 7K. Well, it appears that you need 20K to sacrifice. Very, very cool. Now, the other thing with the Magic Cup, right, obviously they've got a rate of about 2.14 bonus and the volume bonus. Remember, that's the second component. So if you take 100 and then you've got a bonus of 2, you'll go 100 times 2 is 200. So it's just a way of multiplying your bags pretty bad. And that means that a lot of the small players that are in the Magic Cup ride, instead of getting about 1.03 or something on their multiplier, which is pretty low, then they're actually going to get 2.14, which is pretty awesome. So that's why people have taken on that trusting relationship with the leaders of the Magic Carpet Ride pool to do that. Now they're also joining forces to do the sacrifice for liquid loans. We're going to talk a little bit about that briefly later. We did quite a bit yesterday, so we're only going to talk about it briefly today. But they're also doing sacrifice for that, and I'm sure it's going to be huge. In fact, I'm thinking they're probably going to be one of the biggest sacrifices. They might be 21 on this one, but I have a feeling they could be in the top 10. Or a top 10 on that one. I have a feeling they might do pretty well in the liquid loans. It's going to be pretty crazy to see that as well. So just trying to catch up to the comments here. So this is the results. Let's have a look. Before we look at the day end results, let's get into some of the comments and catch up on that. We've also got to look at the tokens, so we'll do that too. I'll just catch on some of the comments here as we go. Mr. A says, was the security audit done on LL? So any hack threats after the launch for that? So okay, so liquid loans is based on liquidity, which is a project on Ethereum. So I actually want to cover that on this channel, and I need to get a pad and write all these things down. But I need to do that. So they have had audits for that. That works perfectly fine over there. They are making adjustments, so they will have to have audits before they go live. They will go live probably at the earliest, in my view, about a month after Pulsechain launches. They also need to get some input prices from Pulse. They need to know what that is. So it's a good chance they'll launch after the initial volatility in the market, which is inevitable, right? There's excitement and then there's volatility, right? Excitement, pullback, volatility, and then it sort of starts to pull out. And that's the typical time when people try to pick up huge bags. And that's what we're looking at. You've got to have patience to do that, though. It's you don't want to. You've got to control your emotions in that one. All right, so yeah, they'll get audits for that as well. So, for the changes that they're making, they're actually keeping the core code, making changes for Pulsechain, obviously. Second says still a good price in here. It now says I still have on board sacrificing 2 of them just before the stream today. Hey, wow, that's awesome. Hey, congratulations on the onboarding stuff like that. K4K, that's the YouTuber I'm thinking of. Yeah, for sure. Very cool. Hey, we've got some. Let me just go back into here. We've just got some. Let me just go into. Just got to see some. Hopefully, the moderators are dealing with those Russian bots. Got those Russian bots in the chat. Hex Buller says Fatal Fury. I wonder if TA, technical analysis, has any effect on Hex. More of a fundamental game. TA doesn't work for BTC. It seems. Yeah, I feel that fundamentals is far more. Well, it's between the big news items. TA does play a role, but I think definitely for the fundamental events have a far bigger impact, especially as these things are development work's being done and it's being put out to the market. Probably the way I look at it. Pulse Earth says it's nice. I'm flat at Earth now. Only a few friends left. Got most of them on board. Hey, well done. Hey, well done, everybody on boarding. The best way to get people to grow the Pulsechain, PulseX, Hex is obviously just to spread the word. And of course, if you've had a good experience, or if you know that you're going to have a good experience, spread the word, get out there. I think it's probably the best way of doing that. So nice. All right. So let's have a go. I'm just going back on some of these here, just make sure. Okay. So moderators I think the moderators missed the Russian bot there, folks. I'm gonna have to do it myself. Let me just do that. Bam. All right, so let's jump over here. We've got Cal says we'll start to buy ETH dips for my future EHEX stakes gas fees. Nice one. Expecting $1,800 soon, says Cal. Nice one there. Yeah, so remember Pulse is what ETH is on. So ETH is used for fees on Pulsechain. Sorry, ETH is used for fees on Ethereum, and of course on Pulsechain, Pulse is going to be used for fees on Pulsechain. So cool. Pulse onboarded. There are so many of us here. Sweet. Yeah, well done. I meant it's now freaking phone. Let me just jump away. I'm trying not to read people's conversations on there. Let me jump here. Stake Hex says, Alex, we love you, brother. Time to fork your government, get you to Las Vegas. Yeah, that's right. Not only could we hire tons of millionaires, that could mint tons for me too. What else? Sachin says, I will be a millionaire if PLX does 100x in a few years. And I am pretty sure it will do that in a few years. Yeah, true. Now, if you want to get the big X's, you've got to stay in the game for a while, right? Typically, generally speaking, you have to stay in the game for a while. So if you want the small X's, then, you can sell out. That's pretty much what happens. Woohoo, says Ramon. Hey, Ramon, good to see you. So Ramon's in the Magic Carpet Ride pool for the PulseX Sacrifice. So big shout out to Ramon. And 100%. Yeah, what else have we got? Such and welcome into the money. Yeah, says CJ. Hey CJ, good to see you. I think it's possible it will take less than a few years. Lots of eyeballs. Yeah. So I actually think that the tokenomics is supercharged, as I just said earlier, with all those features. I think that it's not like the normal DEX launching. You're launching the first system state copy of Ethereum at the same time. You're watching your big DEX. At the same time, your PulseX, your buy and burn, tokenomics, it's all just so much supercharged. It's like the best of everything in one place and all happening, all dropping at one time. So pretty cool. It's like the best project tokenomics in the world, just airdropping to you at the same time. It's like, kind of like that. Cheers, Hex Bullet says, I wish the sacrifice wasn't so long. Well, they need the time for to do the software development, so it's probably good in that way, Alice. How many people have been active on Twitter? Not sure. Let me have a look here. Let me have a look. I'll just check the Twitter there. They're doing pretty well there. We jumped up quite a few. It's up to 25 on Twitter, so that's cool. I think we've so we were on 16. Refresh that. I think we're up to 25. Yeah, so we're up by 9. So good stuff there, folks. If you haven't followed on Twitter, get onto that. And of course, let's refresh Getter. Still at 139, so no change on Getter there, but pretty cool. All right, so just trying to catch up, see how far I am to go. I'm not too far to go on the comments. I'm not active on any social media, says it's now. And there's expectations, lol, says CJ. Yeah, there's no expectations from the work of others, but it's our expectations as people that are sacrificing. So very cool. Matt and Barley says ETH makes me made the sacrifice to ETH. It costs about $25. When I sacrificed on Matic and BSC, it was about 5 cents. Yeah, and that's what we can kind of expect from Pulsechain. But really, the big fundamentals is the amount of people that are going to go on, the airdrops, the buy and burns, all these factors, the big fundamentals. Thumbs up there. ETH is broken. It is, but Pulsechain is coming. Let's see what else we got. Mr. A says, do you expect a 50+% on PLS, correction on PLS after launch within the first month or no? Well, remember, Mr. A, it's all starting at 0. The AMM bot's going to run the ratios. So after launch within the first month or so. We're going to see a big correction. Is it 50%? Maybe stronger than that. Maybe 75% within that time frame. So the first 4 to 6 months, typically where we see the price go lower, and that's where people who buy at the best time. And so that's possibly what happened too. So definitely that's where I'm looking to try and pick up something in that zone. If there's a dip, and that's when the whales will probably be looking for stuff there too. They got a bit more patience than Matt and Barley says, I'll get next time. And Hex Pulse has shown us how powerful community can be in pursuit of liberty. Absolutely agree with that. And Hungarian Hexagon and Thailand's in the house. Hey, a big shout out to you. I appreciate your stuff on Twitter. Big shout out. Great to see you on Twitter. We'll make it easier to share your videos. Hey, Hungarian, appreciate that big time. And Stake Hex says, I get it. We can't talk about forking the government or we get censors. We all get it. Let's just get it done. Yeah. That's pretty amusing. Cool. All right, so let us jump away to let me just jump over here. All right, so let's get on to the next bit. So we've looked at the wallets for the sacrifice. These are what's happening there. We're going to look at it by the sacrifice by tokens now. And of course, this is my highlights because this gives us a lot of stuff that's going on. Obviously, Hex sacrifice is huge. 553,769,000. That's pretty cool. And of course, we're at 2,164,000,000 Hex has been sacrificed. That's about 7.5% thereabouts of the total circulating supply. That's off the market on Ethereum, and it's off the market on Pulsechain. So it's very, very exciting. And it's probably my favorite feature, to be honest, besides sacrificing for the points, which takes, you're sacrificing for freedom of association. So, that's a good cause. But there we are. So that's what's happening now. We've got ETH 233.7 million, USDC 100, almost 107 million on USDC. USD Tether 46.4 million almost. BUSD 16.7 million. So those are the top 5 doing very, very well. And the big theme here, of course, is the stable coins. Really impressive. We've got lots of stable coins, plus with the Pulsechain sacrifice, got stable coins. Who knows what the sacrifice wallet will do with those? And of course, we've had a few hints, probably a few hints possibly from Richard around what he thinks the sacrifice wallet might do potentially, and that is that could be too much money could be used for spending. But what project has a war chest over $600 million in stable coins? It really is pretty cool. As I said, I could speculate it could be used for liquidity, bridging, marketing, all sorts of stuff it could be used for. So it's going to be interesting to see where that stuff moves to and stuff like that. So it's going to be fascinating. BNB, of course, sitting here at BNB sitting at number 6 at 14.3 million, DAI at 5.9 million, Matic at 4.9 million, Wrap Bitcoin at 3.4, and Shiba at 3.2. Those are the top 10. And some of the other highlights, of course, is the fact that you've got other DEXs. So if the AMM bot's going to be harvesting these DEXs, and that's one of the big 3 things to come up and testing the testnet 3, which we're still expecting. And of course, that's Cake from Pancake Swap, and of course on a BSC chain, particularly Uniswap, of course, on the Uniswap on Ethereum. We've also got down here SushiSwap over here, sacrificed over here on SushiSwap. So that's pretty cool. And of course, you've got Quick as well, Quick Swap down here for on the Polygon Matic. So some pretty cool stuff. And it's great to see all those people on those chains going to come over. You watch them. Also, all the yield farming, as I say, from Atrium, Phantom, all of them, Kronos, they're all going to come over. It's going to be pretty fun to see all those yield farmers move their pick up their boots and their bags and march on over. It's going to be pretty fun. And the hundreds of thousands I'm expecting, and the hundreds of thousands is across all those DEXs. Pretty cool. And of course, the low millions for the Ethereum chain. It's going to be absolutely amazing to see the mass adoption. As we talked about, Polygon Matic has something like 3 million transactions per day. Maybe even typically it was higher when it had lower GUI, but that was a lot of bots on there running as well. And of course, Ethereum has about 1.3 million transactions per day. If we harvested all those DEXs, of course, and we had the market price value was a bit higher. Of course, when last time I did that number, it was up at around 2.2 billion, but per day. But if we had that, let's say it was at $1 billion, you're looking at something like maybe $500,000-$600,000 of buy and burn that the magic buy and burn could do every day. And of course, now that that's not going to be automated as such, that directly, that could be ended up being strategically used either on a time basis, which is less strategic on a time basis, or it could be used to support parabolic price rises, or to buy when whales might typically buy when there's been a big market pullback, and buy a lot more for cheap and then burn that. So it's going to be interesting to see that could actually work out in our favor as opposed to just an automatic buy and burn. But nevertheless, that money should be ended up being buy and burn. The word, of course, is could as well. So we must take that into account. So could buy and burn. I think that's down here in the lingo. Let me just go right down to the bottom of PulseX.com as the official site. So PulseX will have I think this highlights probably right, 0.29% fee that users pay for every swap. And so if you had $1,000, that would be $2.90. And that is less than SushiSwap, Trader at Joe's, QuickSwap, and Uniswap. 76% of all trading fees could be distributed to liquidity providers. So that's where you're going to get all these people coming over from all these other DEXs that are yield farming and stuff like that, and the pools just coming over trying to match up their free airdrops and get the high yield, get the incentive token, which is unnamed at the moment. And of course, 21% could be used to buy and burn. and that effectively is 0.06%. So that's pretty cool. What's that? About 60 cents of that $2.90 fee. So pretty cool. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's about right. 60 cents. Yeah. So yeah, 20. So that's pretty cool. Reducing its supply over time. And you can imagine if you've got, instead of just having $1,000 as an example with $2.90, 60 cents, you multiply that by, $1 billion in volume going through. And whoa, you're up to, that's where you get up to your big amounts of $500,000-$600,000 a day. So it's pretty amazing to think about that. All right, Mr. AC, so we will have enough and more time to buy the Pulse bottom, correct? We will have plenty of time. Yeah, there'll be lots of us there sitting to try and pick the bottom when it does happen. So very cool. Let's have a look at by chains. So we've got BSC, Ethereum, and Polygon. Obviously, Ethereum the top 4. BSC is the top, the following 3, number 6 to number 7. And of course, our first ones for Polygon Matic is number 15 is our top sacrificer coin, and number 17 with Matic and USDC. So very cool on that. So with the combined value of the both sacrifice, both Pulsechain and PulseX, over $600 million of stable coins, that is a war chest, folks. Let's see what happens with it. Party time. Salute. Well, let us drink before it even happens. But so pretty cool. All right. So the only thing we've still got remaining, of course, is operational risk. That is operational risk means that the whole system needs to go live and without much of a hitch. Richard's already said that the Uniswap is working really well. The chain itself, which is the Pulse chain itself, is working very well on the testnet. And of course, they've made fee enhancements to that as well. I mentioned that yesterday, 23% fee enhancement reduction. And all that sort of stuff. So the bridge is going well, Pulsechain bridge. I've got a video called Let's Play on Pulsechain Testnet 2. We cover all of them there. Go check that out on the channel. It's pretty cool. We had a lot of fun doing that too. So check that out. The faucets, of course, are available for that. You need the faucet for ETH and Pulsechain. Testnet, so the faucet for ETH is Robstein. Testnet, you need some test ETH there in your wallet so you can send it from both chains. Pay the fee for that. So we had a lot of fun for sure. And of course, we did staking with the validators on Pulse Chain. We did that, and also we did staking Hex on Hex go.hex.com. So we did all those on that videos. It was a lot of fun. They're working pretty well. It was all pretty fast too. Pretty much transactions were most of the time around 3 seconds, 4 seconds as designed. So it was pretty good. Hex Piper says 28 days of sacrificing remaining. Yeah, 26 I've got there, Hex Piper. 26 is what I've got. Plus today is 27, I guess is the way I'd look at it. But yeah, 20. Yes, okay. Just made a sarcastic statement. Let me have a look. Paul says, nice Hex the Ripper. And K4K, that's the one, right? Greg, thanks for that. And Matt and Barley says, my mum's in the house. Welcome her. She's sacrificed. Hey, welcome to your mum. Glennis watching from WA, Australia. Hey, very cool. A big shout out. And Tafra says, out there in California, we have a grocery store called Trader Joe's. My favorite. Yeah, actually, I was aware that Trader Joe's is used a few times, probably in the United States. And Stacey's question, do you think PLS bottom will be less than 0001? Yes, it could go less than 0.1. There's no reason why it couldn't. Do I think that's actually going to happen? Yes, it's possible it could happen for a short period of time. And then I think it will move up. That's probably how I would argue that. Tyler says, wow, billion sacrificed. Yeah, it's amazing. It's not 1 billion, folks. That is awesome. So big celebration there. Got to celebrate things while they happen, right? So pretty cool. All right, so that's it. We've looked at that. We're going to come back to the PulseX later and do a refresh, but those are the results for live. Those are live results. Let's have a look at the day results. Let's scroll down here. This is the day 31. Is $1,468,703 sacrificed. Very cool on day 31. That just closed, of course, 4 hours. 4 hours. Yeah, 4 hours ago. Cool. And of course, the balance for the close of day 31 was $1,586,646. It's kind of funny saying 1 billion and then going down to 586,000. It's kind of funny. So that's really cool results. At the moment, we're on day 32, and we're currently at $224,769 sacrificed. So almost $250,000, and we've got 20 hours to go. 20 hours to go on day 32. So nice on that. Hex, of course, is the one that's been predominantly sacrificed, 55.34%. So obviously the Hex price is very important in terms of sacrificing as it may be. ETH is number 2 at 23.35. USDC, USDT, BUSD. So 3 stables is the next one. That's why there's such an awesome war chest in there. And of course, BNB is there as well. A lot of the smaller ones, of course, getting switched over to stable coins. We saw that the Wise token that got sold down, about $2 million of that got sold. So it does impact some of the other projects do get impacted by the sacrifice when that happens, when it gets sold back in to stable coins. All right, cool. Let's go over to PulseX on the rate, and we're going to check this down here. Let us go down to number what day we're 31. So day 32. So here we are at $2.65, and of course that's for 10,000 points. That previously all the way on day 12, and before that was $1 for 10,000 points. Now $2.65, and of course if you want to get $1, that would be $1 on the volume multiplier. Which is or 1 on the multiplier is just basically $1. That's 3,769 points you will get, or PulseX you will get for $1. But of course you're sacrificing for Freedom Association, so just remember that. So 3,769, and of course tomorrow it's going to be 3,589. So it's still going down there. If you've got a higher multiplier, of course you will get a better result. So if you're in a Magic Carpet Ride team, you're probably over here somewhere. Let me have a look here. So 65 Magic Carpet Rides are probably still getting about 8,000 points per dollar. So people, they sacrificed about 23,000 yesterday. They were probably getting over 8,000 points per dollar with that sacrifice. So they did 24,000. That's still worth a lot to them as well. So pretty cool. Nice. But if you've been sacrificing with the Magic Carpet Ride, getting there 2.14, well, you're probably getting something like 21,000 per dollar on there. So it's pretty badass. That's a pretty good result. Good luck to Ramon and the rest of them in the chat there who are getting that sort of whale level of bonus. Cool. Mr. AC is because it happened with Hex was 100x lower than launch. It did happen with Hex. So the lowest for Hex was the 5th of January 2020. The price was down there. And then it wasn't a couple months later. Of course, it rallied up in about May 2020. I think it was April, May 2020. Yeah, that's when the Hex Godwell came in, started pushing that price up, and then away it went. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. People who got on the 5th of January just loved it. And there have been a few stories about people getting exactly on that day. Tyler M says, I think PLS can easily go over the initial $1 for 10,000 price because the whales got 2.5x, so they can sell off for instant profit. It's likely to go down. Get ready to buy. Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of the big whales, though, have got long-term plans. If anything, they'll probably be buying, generally speaking, Tyler, is my opinion on that. So A says, so maybe we see a 000X PLS. We could see that. There's no reason why we couldn't see that, and particularly in a flash crash. We'll see what happens. But once again, the big whales will be there to say, hey, if you guys are going to sell down all your bags for super cheap, maybe you got panicky, we're here to buy it up. But of course, we've got other factors as well. Let's not forget this is probably in the short term. We're going to have liquid loans potentially coming in a month later. And of course, a lot of people are going to probably try and do the haunted strategy. They're going to collateralize their PLS, borrow USDL against it, and then start buying Pulse in the market. And if they're going to try and collude on that, then they'll try and push the price up in PLS. There's lots of buy factors. We've got the liquid loans coming in later. We've got the whales that are there in the beginning. We've got lots of everybody else, all the retail. They're ready to look to buy bargains. So really, I think there'll probably be a lot more price support than people think. Also, there's people going to lock away PLS in the validators. People are going to lock PLS in the pools. And then, of course, we've got the liquid loans, third-party dApps. There'll probably be more of those. And then, of course, we've got the bridge opening on day 1, day 2. That's going to bring lots of people, new buyers in. So PLS could actually be relatively scarce. So there's all those buying factors that are massive, right? So just remember that. That's a massive thing. And of course, a lot of people that sacrifice PLS, that missed out on PLS sacrifice, are wanting to swap over some of their PulseX for Pulse. And of course, people that are sacrificed for Pulse X also have sacrificed for PulseX. Some of them, if they make good bags on their PulseX, if that does go up, relatively speaking, and maybe after the ratios have changed, then people will buy PulseX. So you can see there at least there's 6 different ways that people will be buying Pulse And of course, a lot of people will be wanting to buy PulseX as well because the value is so high. The way of locking down the PulseX, of course, so far is the pools. We'll also see whether the DAO incentive actually votes for a one-sided incentive, where you can lock in your PLSX and then get part of the incentive token. We'll see that needs to be voted for at this stage. So you can see all those factors coming into play. So hopefully that gives a nice summary there. Tyler says it could go as low as a quadruple 0.05, really, if whales want to cash out and keep the remaining profit. Yeah, so I see definitely we can get volatility down there, but like I said, there's so many forces to buy back up. So Pulse Earthplane says, no, peeps, hey, Pulse Earthplane, sleep well. And great to see you in the chat as always. Mr. A says that would be sweet. Yeah. So there will always be buying opportunities, especially in the beginning. And then, of course, over time, we start to expect it to have these parabolic rises over time. But like I said, this is not the ordinary launch, right? This is not just like a token launch. This is Pulsechain launching. This is PulseX launching. It's Ethereum basically launching with all its potential users. And as soon as they ramp up real fast, that's what you're going to see. You're going to see hundreds of thousands of people flood in. So even though we've got maybe 150,000 people, say, that's going to suddenly climb by hundreds of thousands very quickly. So, yeah, I'm expecting some huge things. Low millions is what I'm expecting, at least. Maybe 1 million people. Let's try and be conservative. 500,000 people, 1 million people in a short space of time. So 6 to 9 months, say, could be faster than that. So I just don't know. It's just a bit that I know that it's going to be like a wheat field, people spreading the word because people got airdrops and they're going to find out I got an airdrop. Yeah, come over here. It's been valued up already. So it really is going to be quite crazy like that. The stuff's not been seen before on this scale. It's just ginormous. Stay flat, yeah. BJ says, how many PulseX will 15K get you today? Well, 15K, this is approximately, so let's go up to this one. There was a calculator on one of these, but let me go up to this one. So 4,900 times, say 15 is what you probably get on that. It's 73.5 million PulseX points from the looks of it. What else we got, BJ? How many PLX will get 10K get you? I'm not going to keep going through all of them, BJ. You can work that out there. With 4,900, just times it by $10,000 on that one. Very cool. Tyler says a lot of people missed PLS, so there will be a buy pressure too. I want a 10,000 Aussie worth at some stage, but we'll wait patiently. Yeah, that's true, Tyler. That's true. And Tyler says my PLS are going nowhere. And yeah, that's true. Tyler says if you trade your PLX for an inflated PLS rate prior to letting the market out, then you are going to regret it without a doubt. Yeah, that's why I agree with you, Tyler, on that. That's why I've said be careful about be careful about the ratio swapping. Greg says sucks in New Zealand with Jacinda bin Laden. Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, I saw something just briefly. I don't normally talk too much about this, but they had this little thing on Twitter, which I can't, from a social point of view, can't stand. But they had this thing, something about. I don't want to talk about too much because I want YouTube to ban me because we're on some type of platform. But they were posting pictures of New Zealand, beautiful pictures of New Zealand, which had nothing to do with the criticism that was being made, Greg. So it just shows you what we're dealing with. When you got people posting pictures of beautiful New Zealand, we already know New Zealand's beautiful. Has nothing to do with how beautiful New Zealand is. So anyway, nice one there. Get him says the Hex Live, and Mr. A says any guesses what PLX ratio would be more than a bridge? Well, it's going to be PLX. There's going to be more PLX around, so it should be a greater than scenario on that one, Mr. A. And we're currently sitting. I reckon it's going to be. Let's say we have 200 trillion tokens on PulseX and 150 on Pulse, and then you kind of got your ratio. Mr. Matt and Barley says, I heard they ran here off the right, and his we don't want anything bad to happen even to authoritarian leaders, but the chances of if they can do something about it would be good. But like I said, when you got people posting these pictures of beautiful New Zealand, they obviously in response to the criticism about authoritarian rule, then you're not really going to get any change, are you? When you got people walking around like that posting, look, it's not too bad. That has nothing to do with the fact that people have lost their jobs and all this other stuff. Anyway, Tyler M says, I proudly never ever joined, left to sit. Yeah. Well, I've done it because people are asking me a lot there, Tyler. So we're on there now. And it is obviously the crypto is one of the biggest platforms of crypto. So I'm going to play in that space and try to ignore the propaganda that's on the right-hand side news flow. So all the stuff that typically runs through here, or typically all propaganda, all set up to indoctrinate you. I'm not interested in that stuff. So we're interested in the crypto, so we're going to keep in that space. Craig Wadding says, woohoo! And Simple Believer says, what does LP token do? So an LP token represents liquidity that you put into a pool. So it means a liquidity provider. So when you put the funds in a pool, Uniswap version 2, for example, which is what's being forked for Pulsechain, you might get $500 of USDC, and you might have $500 worth of Hex, and you put that into a Hex and USDC pool. In return for that, they're going to give you an LP token, which reflects the mathematical price of that at the time, that ratio at the time. And of course, you take that LP token, they'll give you that. So you put those funds in, you lock them in, they'll give you an LP token. It kind of represents that ownership, and it goes to your wallet with the LP token. It's like its own token. And of course, you can take that token if you've got yield farming pools, and you can put that token in there and get a second reward. So when you do stuff in Uniswap, you get a 0.3% of the fee share based on what you put in there. But obviously, if there's yield farming, you can get another extra bonus there and put that in your LP tokens in there and get an incentive token, which is like PulseX. On top of that, of course, sometimes there are yield farm aggregators or compounders. Some of those features are around as well. Some of them are a bit sharky, like Adamant. Adamant's quite a sharky one. Don't really like the developer there. He's a bit of a shady character, but there are services like that around. Tyler says, I lost good clients because of, I appreciate that, Tyler. I think we're on the same page there. We actually see reality for what it is, but unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are living in la land, unfortunately, Tyler. I feel for, that's right. Hexforce says, thanks for your great content. Hey, Hexforce, appreciate that. And Matt and Bali says, nearly 3,000 subscribers. Yeah. Oh, yeah. By the way, hit 2,800 subscribers today. So big shout out to all of you. Obviously can't do it without you guys, and appreciate that. Big shout out. We are heading towards, so we finally got that 2,800, heading towards 3,000 as our next goal. Very, very cool. And I just think Crypto Heartbeat hit, was it 7,500 today? So big shout out to Crypto Heartbeat. I think that's how much Crypto Heartbeat it hit. So pretty cool. I saw that. Where's Crypto Heartbeat on here? I'm just trying to find that too. Crypto Heartbeat here somewhere. Let me have a look at that. So I'm going to pull that up and see. Yeah, I think Crypto Heartbeat hit 7,500. So big shout out. Yes, now up to 7,620 or so now. So that's pretty cool. So big shout out. Yeah. Some of the last ones on Crypto Heartbeat stream. We had the interviews with Liquid Loans. You actually had an interview with Crypto Bobcat. He's an interesting guy there. Pastoral Perspectives, the Pulse live stream. Quite a few things there with Crypto Heartbeat. So well done. Hey, it won't be too far away before Crypto Heartbeat it's the 10,000. That'll be pretty exciting. I do think that the algorithms, as you go through the different levels, push you further. So once I think you hit kind of, I don't know whether it's based on 1,000, then a certain number of thousands, and then 10,000, but certainly seems to, once you get over like 10,000, people's channels do really get bigger faster. I think we saw Richard's channel also once it hit 100,000, it started growing faster, not just with all the stuff about Pulsechain and everything. I kind of feel like maybe the algorithm kicks you forward when you reach these kind of milestones. Just a food for thought there. So cool. But congratulations. Mr. A says, can you buy LP tokens of DEX? You can't buy LP tokens that I'm aware of. You can only you get them as representing funds that you put into a pool, like I say with my previous example. Alex Fane says, what do you think will happen to Ethereum when Pulse launches? Well, some people are saying obviously it's a bit of a vampire attack. Some people, some people say it's going to complement or support. I hate using the word complement; it's not quite word, but help support Ethereum, reduce the transactions and the fees. Other people say it's a bit like a full, pretty much a vampire attack across the board. And of course, possibly the biggest vampire attack of all time. Other people are saying that it's actually an Ethereum killer. So we've got three different levels there. I think that it's probably going to get somewhere pretty good. It's going to be pretty good. It could actually, like I say, I'm pretty bullish that it actually could make a massive impact there. We could be certainly a vampire attack. Confident with the vampire attack. Ethereum's got a lot of economic energy. It's got a lot of brand power. It's got a lot of whales in there, a lot of traditional money and bridge money. So it's going to be interesting when they go to Ethereum. Of course, everything is superior on the Pulsechain, and the incentives are superior. The tokenomics is superior. So we will see what will happen, but it's going to be pretty badass in my view, no matter what happens. So cool. It's definitely going to help reduce Ethereum's transactions, is my view. So if they're doing 1.2, 1.3 million a day, and of course that's been driven by Uniswap, version 2, 3, and OpenSea mostly, then that's going to help them a lot. Now, the other thing, of course, is the metaverses that got killed off on those chains are going to get to relive over on Pulsechain. And so that's going to be pretty good. Let me just pull up. I'm going to pull up a list here. Let me just pull this up and talk about this briefly. Where we're going here. So I'm trying to think of some ones that I'm just going to remember the names. I can't even see it on here. That's hilarious. Is it not? Is it off? Can't even see it there. Wow, really? Surely it's still around. I thought it was in the top 100, but maybe it's drifted away. Look at these projects. They've shifted out of the top 100 now. Compound shifted out of the top 100. Hollows, Ravencoin. There's some crazy stuff. There's been some real shifts in the market, that's for sure. Decentraland. I think it's Decentraland I'm thinking of. That's really suffered. And so these projects get to resurrect themselves on Pulsechain. It's going to be pretty fascinating. Tyler says, hey, bro, do you think that Richard will try to do some sort of lock away mechanism for the PulseX like Hex has? Like I said, I don't think so. He's not said anything about that. I think that the pools are a way of locking away tokens, kind of. And the fact that the DAO incentive, which PulseX are going to control that at this stage, they're going to control that. And of course, they could have a one-sided incentive token, just like they do on SushiSwap and stuff. So very cool. Now, obviously, the buy and burn is going to be superior to the stuff like to SushiSwap example, because instead of going to holders, it's going to go to the burn. So tokenomics is way superior. Mr. A says, will the $1 USDL have the buying power of $1 on a DEX? That yeah, it's backed by the PLS, so it should hold that. It's going to be honored that way on the platform, on the contract. So remember, no one's going to be controlling the contract. It's immutable. It just runs itself. It's based on supply and demand. So yeah, it's going to act as a pretty good decentralized algorithmic stablecoin, and with a $1 clawback on your Pulse. So yeah. What's the AMM stand for? Automatic market maker stand for, and is it a buy and burn function? No, it's not a buy and burn function. It's a harvest function. So it goes harvest all the tokens from different dexes, liquidity pools, and then it swaps over Pulse. It takes they're going to get copied over to Pulsechain as PRC20s, and it's going to be harvested, and they're going to get in return. They're going to get Pulse for it because it's kind of like Ethereum's like a 1.1 million to 1 type thing. So that's how it's going to work. It's going to create instantly lock-in liquidity, and so there's liquidity. EPRCs won't be able to be pulled. It's also going to lock in a value there. It's going to print money for nothing, and that's going to be amazing. And of course, that's what we love in crypto. We've seen it happen time and time again. CZ does it. All sorts of people do it. So it's an easy one to do. Yeah, cool. Yeah, Tyler's answered you too. So nice one, Tyler. Matt and Barley says, we need Richard to subscribe. Come on, Richie, you can do it. Yeah, I like that one, Matt. And very Corey Waiting's in the house with a nice answer there. Thank you. Hey, Property Reviews in the house. Good to see you. Great show today. I appreciate that, Property Review. Big shout out to you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. Subscribe to this, follow on the socials, follow on Getter, because you know I love free speech. You know me, love free speech. So follow on Getter there. We've got another follower there, 140, nice. And of course, we're on Twitter now with the Hex token. Going to focus on the crypto side of it, not on most of the propaganda that's on the right hand side there. We're going to just update on here. Yeah, 31 followers. So cool. Nice one. We're up, started at 16. So basically almost doubled that. One more follower. And we've doubled the amount there. Very, very cool. I will be doing some outreach myself on that chat. I did a couple of posts today, but we're going to get more consistent on there. And I'll start posting the videos on there as well. So looking good. Very cool. Greg's in the house says, hold your PulseX until after the main launch. You should get a better swap rate for Pulse. I agree with that one, Greg. Good suggestion. Tyler says, what's the play on Hex, mate? You think it can tank after snapshot and integration onto Pulsechain? Well, I think there'll be a lot of demand for Hex on Pulsechain, Tyler. The interesting question is probably around Hex on Ethereum. So, obviously the whale's talking about a parity, and, that's what my initial position was. So, yeah, I definitely probably moving slightly in favor that Pulsechain Hex will be worth relatively more from a USDC standpoint when that gets set up after the bridge. Yeah, we'll see. It depends how high the price goes up, Tyler, too. If we do get the rally we are expecting for Hex, then, yeah, there could be a sell-off afterwards. Right? That seems a reasonable thing altogether. Tyler says, can you explain a vampire attack, please, dude? Basically, just the fact that we're going to, vampire it from multiple perspectives. We're vampiring it because we're doing a system state copy of the whole chain with all the tokens. We're vampiring it from the sense that we're vampiring Uniswap, and we're going to vampire all the other dexes. And so that's what I mean by vampire attack. We're going to be taking a lot of their value. They're just copying and pasting. But copy, pasting, and enhancing is pretty much what we're doing there, Tyler. Will the Ethereum holders feel the launch, even not knowing about Pulse? They're going to feel it pretty quickly, because as more users find out that they can do everything on Ethereum for super cheap, super fast on Pulsechain, and of course get better yields and better tokenomics for the PulseX, Hex, and Pulse itself, then they're going to come pretty fast. It's a bit like if I tell you, oh, you've got a airdrop for a couple $1,000 over here, you're going to come pretty fast to get it, aren't you? For the most people, most people will do it in the retail space. Cal says all those layer 2s are still expensive gas fees. Yeah. The other thing is that even Polygon Matic, which I've spent a lot of time on, that's actually having a lot of issues. I found the gas fees are getting more congested, more up there. They had quite a bit of bod tax. It used to be 1 Gwei, and they jumped it to 30 Gwei. That's certainly changed the environment. They had a lot of bod attacks. Like I say, they were up at like 4.5 million transactions per day. I think they're down to like 3.5 million now, somewhere like that. Which is like triple more than Ethereum, but of course the value is not the same because Uniswap's so expensive. The dollar values are hundreds of millions of dollars versus maybe $3 or $4 million on Polygon per day, and transaction volume, fee volume, I should say, on the on Matic, using Matic. So Matic is like Ethereum is the fee for Polygon Matic there. Stake Hex says can everyone please push the hell out of this channel? One of the best analytics in Hex. Hey, thanks, Stake Hex. Appreciate that. And yeah, Hex Token on Twitter says Hex Bullet. Nice one. And Mr. A says, mad respect for reading all comments. That's why I love this channel. Yeah, I tried to do that. I tried to jump from topics and back into the chats just to make sure I keep up to date there. So let's jump over to the exciting stuff. This is pretty cool. We're going to jump over to Rackham. And of course, this is the number one whale. If we go back to PulseX, we are PulseX is on here. So we often talk about the number one whale here. And of course, that's Overwatch. There are other big groups around, 3 Arrows and other ones around. I've actually lost track of 3 Arrows. So I need to try and catch up on that one. And they're particularly in Hex and stuff like that. So yeah, it's we'll try and follow on that one. But anyway, so we think that there's probably about maybe 6 or 7 billionaires around, maybe 7, maybe even 8 that are interested or involved in some way with the Hex or Pulsechain. So we're definitely getting the big money starting to come in, and once they get in, they start telling their friends and stuff like that. So it's definitely happening a lot. All right, so let's go to Rackham. This is Overwatch. Rackham. Rochelle, the CEO and founder of Overwatch Partners Venture Capital, celebrity cryptocurrency consultant. Very, very cool. And homeless to a billionaire, he was. Homeless to a billionaire. So what a great story. Very, very cool. And you can see him on rackham.com, which I think this comes back to Twitter here. But hey, So this is the prediction that he made. Someone asked him here, Michael Morton, asked him prediction for the next 2 years. And he said predictions, Hex, $1.20 USD. So this has been interpreted that it's $1.20, talking about parity, $1.20 on Pulsechain, $1.20 on Ethereum, and having parity. And therefore, that's like $2.40. That's, pretty amazing, really. So that's within 2 years, but this has been conservative. So cool. PLS 12,500 X. So a lot of you be happy about hearing that. So pretty cool. That backs up kind of Richard's comments on this from all-time low. PLX X 8,000 X from all-time low. No expectation of return or gain from any resource, but that was pretty cool coming from Rackham there. And let's us. I'm not sure if we can get that copy there. Let me copy the tweet there, and I'll try and paste this in over here. That way I can have a look at it. Because I'm not logged in on this computer yet, so I have to bring over my details. So the Rackham says these are my minimums, just to add clarity there. So just to add clarity. So cool. And that's pretty bullish, right? That's pretty bullish. So if you guys are all here early, like I said, this is going to be bigger. No one's really done this before. It's going to be really, really huge. In time, it might become the Ethereum killer in time as more people come over. It's basically like a turning point. If we start getting 40% of the users that are on Ethereum actively using Pulsechain versus Ethereum, they start forgetting about Ethereum. They do their basic stuff because they've still got their assets there, but they really spend more time over in Pulsechain. Then that's kind of like an Ethereum killer, right? It's starting to basically take all the users over. So it's pretty neat from that point of view. So we'll watch that and see if it happens. I think we've got all the right stuff to help make it happen. But obviously you want two valuable chains, right? Ideally, you have two valuable chains. Depending on how you look at that. Obviously, if you can create more value over here, then you'll maybe say, well, not so much. We don't worry too much as long as you make net more gain on one chain. So cool. All right, so I thought that was pretty cool, man. This is so special, and every time I see Rackham produce something, I like to get it out to you guys because I think it's so special to get a big whale at the top of the pile, actually seeing what they think. So very, very cool on that. Let's have a look at the liquid loans briefly. Don't forget this. So this is coming up. The sacrifice is coming up. And I sort of see this as getting just a small percentage of sacrifice. You can do whatever you want. But if you had a portfolio, I do see this as the fourth leg on a chair. This is your bank, your collateral lending, 0% interest. That means you don't have to sell your Pulse. If you collateralize it, you can just lend a little bit. We talk about 1,000%. That's kind of a safe way of doing it. 10%, borrowing 10% against your asset and buying some stuff out like that. So it's a different way. Obviously, as the price of PLS goes up, your collateral goes, your collateral position gets better. So just remember that. So they've got a referral program, of course. I'm doing the referral program, going pretty hard. Now you can use my link in the video chat to get your own referral link. It's kind of a win-win there. And of course, you can spread your referral out. You get 5% of the referral based on the person who uses your referral. And of course, you just have to click the referral, but you can use the link in the video description. And of course, this is the basic idea here. You can get 5% and 5% of your referees sacrifice. So the person you give it to your friend, you'll get 5% of what they sacrifice. They must sacrifice a minimum of $500 to qualify as a referee, and they get 5% of their sacrifice, and they must sacrifice at least $500. So remember that $500, you do that much at least to qualify for your referral bonus. If you're getting it. So cool. Now, if you're a self-referrer and you get over 10 people that that have qualified over $500 that are referrals, then you end up getting a bonus of 10% of your own sacrifice points. So it's not to do with the person that you refer; it's your own sacrifice points that you get with 10 or more. So it's a pretty cool deal. So that's a nice balance. It's not too high, the referrals. It's a good balance and it's a good incentive. It is probably the best referral ones I've seen for a long time. You'd never want a program where you had 15, 20, 30%. Those are just unsustainable, and they typically kill the project, and they typically just allocate to all the big social media ones pretty much. So I think it's a pretty good balance. Obviously, it's going to be pretty cool. Now, at the bottom of this page, of course, is the sacrifice amount. We did read the details. We did read this. Hasn't launched yet, but it's going to be soon. It's going to be soon. You've got to use stable coins, of course, to sacrifice. Pretty much USDC, USD Tether, True USD, DAI, and BUSD are the ones that you can sacrifice. So that's pretty much the way you go. You got to do it from your wallet. You can't do it from an exchange. Pretty much the basic stuff there, and there's lots of details in there. There's three ways, of course. Earlier pays better. Bigger pays better, and they've got a third component which is not in Richard Sacrifice. Longer pays better, and this is the interesting one because this will lock away tokens from the market straight off the bat, which is a pretty cool. And you will earn 6% more points every month that you delay, up to 2.5x on your points if you delayed all the way for 2 years. So it's pretty good like that. The sacrifice is only going to last 30 days, the first 10 days, and then it starts going up after that. Is the way it's going to work, and we're just waiting for it to launch pretty much. This, of course, the actual liquid loans won't start till at least a month after Pulsechain goes live because it needs to audit itself. It's using existing contracts of liquidity, but it's making some changes, so it needs to audit those changes. And then, of course, it needs to be perfect if it's going to run, because it's going to be immutable. It's going to run on the blockchain, and it can't have any issues whatsoever. It's got to be able to run perfectly good. And of course, the second thing is that they also need to know what the prices of Pulsechain, because they're going to have to pull that prices into their platform to do their calculations and stuff like that. So that's the basics of that. And of course, if you get your referral code, you can shed that around. Obviously, early adopters is always pretty awesome, right? Especially if it's the win side. Now, what can it do in X's? Well, it's anyone's guess, but I think that there's probably some pretty decent returns in it in terms of X returns, in my view. But once again, not investment advice. Need to do your investment due diligence. Very cool. And of course, you can get referral code. Just use the link in the video description, and away you go. It is a win-win as well. Nice. All right, so that's that. I just want to do some shout outs. Want to do some shout outs as well. So let's jump over to howtopulse.com. Now, if you haven't got this as one of your favorite websites, howtopulse.com, there's lots of great videos. I want to make this sort of a section of some of my shows, is just to talk about some other stuff that's happening in the community. So howtopulse.com, it's got lots of cool videos and how-tos. I think it may be run by Crypto Coffee. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a pretty good site. So if you want to pick up lots of extra information, they've got lots of tools, like the sacrifice prices and calculators and all sorts of stuff like that. Lots about Hex and stuff. So definitely a good site to follow. They also shill the project as well. Get out and shilling and spread the word, which I'm a big champion of as well. So nice. And very cool stuff. So lots of content in there, and that, of course, will just only grow with time. Let's also, the other one I want to talk about was hexstreamers.com. Big shout out to Hex Streamers. Now, I think this is pretty cool if you want to know all the streamers and Pulsechain, Hex, and PulseX got lots of them. Obviously got the live shows on. They actually have this channel live at the moment, which is pretty funny. So Hex Token, and they've got Hex Radio app is also live at the moment. Offline Discord syndicate, so they obviously finished a little while ago. They got 0 there. And of course, Crypto Cabana or Cabana Crypto, DJ Crypto Mart, Hex is the way. Hex is the way is a smaller channel that's growing. I think they're up to 450 subscribers. So go check them out. Give them some support and some love. Give them some subscribers there. Definitely get into that official pulsification. Crypto Heartbeat, of course, definitely one of the bigger channels now. And of course, doing some awesome content in the interview space, particularly. Very cool. And we've got other stuff there. K3 Uncut, Hexy, lots of different ones here. And Hex, the crypto space, Hex Futures, Hex Pulse Radio, Pulse Gains, which is also one of the bigger channels now. My Life is Awesome, of course, which is always entertaining to watch. And of course, the recent one with Funding Jim was pretty good. I watched that video today because, Funding Jim's one of my favorite people in the space. Very cool. What else? Balliet Brand, of course, Rag to Riches, often live stream similar time to what I do, actually. Rag to Riches and Jexa. Jexa's fantastic. Jexa is in Liquid Loans team. So he's a big person in the Australasian Hex Pulsechain community. A very intelligent guy. He is in actually official team member too in Liquid Loans. If you haven't checked out some of his videos on Liquid Loans, go check them out. They're really cool. Crypto Spa Book, of course. These guys are legends, obviously, doing the 555 too. They're pretty cool. Hexologist, of course, the big man himself in the space. And what else? Lots of other Holodog, of course, one of the biggest YouTube channels in the space for Pulsechain, Hex, and crypto and stuff. So Hex Clips, of course, Wales Only, Matty Allen, they're all in here, folks. Crypto Bobcat, Motley Investor. There's just lots of different channels here that you can go through. So I wanted to do a big special shout out to hexstreamers.com for doing that. And very cool. Super Hex Win. TikTok does a lot of TikToks, lots of stuff. So there's lots of people in here. Very cool. And some other ones that I'm not so familiar with, but very cool. So a big shout out to hexstreamers.com. Definitely add that to your favorites. I might put that in the video description afterwards. That's probably how we rock on there. Rock on. All right, so let's jump back to the poll. We're going to wrap that up. We're up to an hour and 30, so we're probably going to wrap that up. Let's go into the chat there And let me find my chat. And we're going to go up to the poll. Hey, we've got 45 votes. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. We're going to end that poll. Let's see what the results are. We're going to see what the results are there. Got a little bit behind in my comments, so we'll just probably play that out. Let's see what the results are. So there's the results. So we've got how have you followed Hex Token on Twitter, crypto, or Getter, free speech and crypto? Followed on Twitter, 51%. Hey, big shout out. Thank you for that. Followed and retweeted on Twitter, 37%. Awesome. And followed on Getter, 11%. Nice. Good to see you in the house. It's free speech. Remember on Getter. Getter, just remember to let you know. And followed and repost on Getter. Cool. 0%. So 45 votes. Nice one. I do appreciate that. If you're watching after the live stream, the social links are in the video description. It'd be great if you could follow and retweet, repost, depending on which platform you're on. Very, very cool. So nice one there. Let's go back to PulseX, and we're going to do a refresh on here and then get into the final comments and roll out, of course. It's going to be almost dinner time here soon, 6:30. Got a friend coming over. We're going to watch the rest of Season 4, Battlestar Galactica. I think we've got about 7 episodes or something. It's going to be a mad evening here in good old New Zealand. Even though we're living under authoritarian rule, we are going to enjoy ourselves regardless as much as possible. So cool on that. Mr. A says that mad respect for reading all the comments. Yeah, awesome stuff. Matt Mbali says he's the best guy on YouTube. No one does it better. So much respect. I appreciate that, Matt. Big shout out. I have a couple of bintangs on my behalf. Very cool. Hey, we're actually up a little bit there on the sacrifice. 832,000 now. That's climbed a little bit. Cool. And we've got Alex Fane says 1 Hex token gets more views. Once it's going to go hard to get all the comments to ask away now. Yeah, I'm trying to avoid the private chats in there as well. Get used to that. On fire says Elal. Hey, Elal, appreciate that 100%. And Vampire Hands. Are we the baddies? Yeah, well, we're probably not the baddies. Hey, where'd that come? Hopefully the moderators took that out. Nice one. The moderators did it. Matt and Bali, well done, Matt, on moderating. Very, very cool. Folks are here now, says Rune Skies. Hey, Rune Skies. Hey, good to see you in the house. Hey, Rune Skies. You got here. You must be on Discord Syndicate, Rune Skies. You got here a little late. And Tyler M says, but if Ethereum goes down, so will the Richard Hart projects, or once the fork happens, is completely independent of Ethereum. If the market goes down, it can have an impact on its overall value. But that said, there's this project will be possibly the shining light on the hill, is the way I like to describe it. And obviously, Hex is pretty stabilized. It's got 85% in USDC. That would give some protection as well. But yeah, it's probably the way we think about that. Brazoli says, I tweeted you out on Twitter, says Brazoli. Hey, Brazoli, appreciate it. You champion. And Matt and Barley says there have been so many called Ethereum killers like EOS and so on. No one has done it yet. And Pulse and PulseX is just not talk. It's obvious. Yeah, that's right, Matt. Agree with that. And RuneSky says, could you ban the Russian dude up there? Yeah, sketchy link. And looking now, says Matt. And Hexbuller says, if they use Pulsechain for trading ESC20 because they want to save on fees, it will already be exploding. Yeah. I mean, everything about the whole airdrop, the first system state copy, the tokenomics, the deflationary, the buy and burn, it's just all the best stuff all in one place. And of course, the only person that can pull it off is someone with a big enough following and that had an energetic, not just a big enough following, but an energetic, passionate following, which is what we do have in Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX communities. They're very, very cool. That doesn't mean that you can't go and invest in other projects. You know, it's crypto. Have fun out there. But of course, if you want to, deferred gratification and ride out the cycles, then that's probably a good place to be. RuneSky says, cheers, Matt. And hit like 52, like very low. So smash that like button, hit the subscribe for sure. We're just rolling on through here. Hezbollah says, yes, guys, hit the like. Very cool. Like that. Matt and Buzz, mother, hit the bell. They're talking about you, love. That's funny. Nice one, Matt. Lovely sense of humor. Have another bintang on the house. Ding, ding. Hey, a bit like, what am I saying the guy's name is again? My life is awesome. It's like Pulsechain, ting, Hex, ting, PulseX, ting. I love it. Very, very cool. Good night. Good night, people. Hey, good night. It's now. Thanks for popping in again. And I love those rockets, the Hex token rockets. And Night Bro says Hexbuller. Matt and Barley says, are you going to try to get another YouTuber like Eminem Crypto, Ivan Tech, and Carl, and so on? That be, I don't know about that. They've ridden through all those years of 2017, 2016, 2017, 2018. They've run all through, or they ran all through the BitConnect period. They kept believing in their Bitcoins. They kept accumulating. And, of course, they're living the dream, those guys right now. It's not just Carl. There's another guy that was, man, I'm going to go back and to review that, and we'll pull that up for another live stream. I think that's worthy of talking about all those guys. Might do that, Matt. Greg says, Hex Token, my daily tonic. You must be the most consistent YouTuber. Well done from Mount Albert. Woohoo! A big shout out to you, Greg and Mount Albert. Hey, you just realized where you are too, Greg. You know the significance of that. That's pretty funny. Brazology says, I was here pre 100K subs. Hey, nice one, Brazology. Woohoo! Rocking on DMV. That's good old Brazology. Alex Fane says, great stream. And like always, peace out, guys. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. Absolutely. Next Bullet says, most informative Hex channel on YouTube by far. Thanks for your work. I appreciate that's a good time to finish now. Thanks for watching. And we're going to post that. All right, let's punch that. Take care, guys. I'm going to post a few emojis. If you want to join the channel as a member, hit the join channel. We've got Pulse Skins, Hex Skins, and Richard Hart Club. Get onto that. Of course, follow on Twitter and Getter, and also on Odyssey. We're on that too. So nice. Let me post a lot of these. Very full. Moderators, thank you very much. Hex Token channel members, thank you. And to all you subscribers, awesome. We hit over 2,800 subs, onwards up to 3,000. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. Take care for sure. Have a good time. And DCA in for your bags. Pump those bags. It's going to happen. It's going to be pretty nice. All right, cool. All right, let us get out of here. There we go. Cheers, everybody. 1 billion with a B. Nice.